So there's been a really big hubbub here in New Jersey about vaccinations and religious exemptions to a point where the Senate has been going back and forth on the bill that's at the bottom of the screen there. It's called S2173, and it's about removing that exemption for religious freedoms. And so the state has been in a tizzy. This over in Trenton, there have been protests. People have been wilding out because it really does take away the parents' right to choose for their child and gives the government even more control. And it's really good to see parents standing up for their rights. Now, as far as vaccinations go, it's a deep delve. But this video is coming to us from News in Jersey, which is a channel I recently came across that has about 12,000 views on their first video. I'm a little jealous. I'm not even going to lie, but but this is the video in question right here, and what they're going to do is talk about the relationship between Sweeney, our Senate President Stephen Sweeney, and George Norcross, who is basically the man here in New Jersey when it comes to the political parties. So the Democrats in particular. So without further ado, we're going to get into this video that they've done that's talking about their relationship. Let's go.
We did an investigation on Sweeney and Norcross, and this is what we found. The story actually goes back to the two of them being childhood friends. George Norcross became successful, but he knew he had to stay out of politics if he wanted to keep his insurance contracts private. So he convinced Steve to become a politician. But Norcross calls the shots when he needs something done. So
I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Yeah, I'm pretty positive of that. Steve, you can look at the hair, like they're childhood friends. Yeah, they've been friends for a really long time, and apparently George Norcross had the foresight to, put all his pieces in place and ultimately end up running the state. It's pretty amazing.
Norcross runs an insurance firm called Connor, Strong, and Bucklew, which has worked with townships and municipal authorities for over 30 years. And Norcross has used his firm to build a tremendous amount of political connections for his quid pro quo operation.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of years back when I was with Working Families, one of our bigger issues was the insane tax subsidies that were being given to corporations throughout the state. And this man, apparently, allegedly, is the mastermind to all of it. Right now, in Camden, there is a huge pushback to the tax incentives that haven't really boiled down to the type of jobs that the people in Camden were promised.
Connor, Strong, and Bucklew also works with a multitude of pharmaceutical companies across the nation in research and development of vaccines, human clinical
hold on.
trials.
Yeah, so basically he's like also part bad guy from Venom. I mean, not to make a joke or anything, but yeah, like human clinical trials, like that being that deep. I'm sure he's not in the lab coat pressing the buttons or anything like that, but the ties run deep with this guy. He has amassed an insane amount of power.
Product recall and integrative risk programs. The information on the majority of those clients is private. Recently, the pressure has been put on Norcross, who is currently under investigation for committing fraud against the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, the NJEDA, where
So the EDA should be should make everybody's ears tingle a little bit, because they've been like he said, under investigation. I believe that's where the Polanco lady was making $125,000 a year, and then bringing her peoples on to work, do nothing jobs at exuberant prices as well. So yeah, like Jersey's corruption goes way deeper than a lot of people probably realize, which is why I'm still kind of tripping about like the 12K, that the 12,000 views that he has on this video, because Jersey corruption really doesn't move the needle like that. But you know, hey, I mean, power to him, and I'll definitely be leaving. I'm subscribed, and I'll definitely be leaving a link in the description to the channel. Go check them out. I really feel like the bulk of this is around the vaccination issue, but I mean, what you putting out is good stuff, so let's keep going, bro.
Of companies he is affiliated with, including Connor, Strong, and Bucklew, Cooper University, and Holtec, which holds board positions, and then Teva Pharmaceuticals all had millions in tax incentives frozen due to fraud. Teva Pharmaceuticals just settled a $23 billion case as a main plaintiff in the opioid epidemic, and they were also found guilty of price-fixing prescription drugs.
Don't they all, though? I mean, seriously, this is the big problem I have with the entirety of the drug war, because you have these gigantic corporations and companies and pharmaceuticals that are allowed to make, you know, billions upon billions with the blessing of the government, whereas the drug war in our urban zones has been nothing but a catastrophe. Well, for good reason, because they needed to keep the prisons popping and everything else like that. Like there's reasons behind everything that's taken place and transpired. But when it comes to this law, or like when it comes to the larger corporations and the like, and how they work in conjunction with the government, who should in many cases be overseeing and regulating them, this is not even, it's not even a contest.
Company also is in the business of vaccines, yet they are receiving tax incentives from our state. Sweeney and former Governor Christie appointed the majority of the board members for the NJEDA.
Yeah, man. I mean, Christie, Jesus. Gee, yeah, like, not a fan. I'm not a fan of the past governor. I'm not a fan of the current governor. I'm not a fan of really any of New Jersey's elected class, because their concern is never the quality of life or the cost of living. It's always about some arbitrary thing that ultimately is a distraction from the fact that the quality of life is going down and the cost of living is going up. And that's why we have such a hate-hate relationship.
Then helped push Norcross and his affiliates through the process of approval, winning them millions in tax incentives. Governor Phil Murphy recently formed a task force to investigate this corruption, which also involves Philip Norcross, George's brother, whose law firm helped craft the legislation for the tax incentives.
So, broke clock is right twice a day. I do not like Phil Murphy at all, but in this, he is not wrong. Okay, in this investigation, he's not wrong. Now, what I know, he has absolutely no interest in, you know, saving that money and trying to reallocate it to maybe the pensions or the property taxes, or try to alleviate the regular New Jerseyans' life. So that's really where things get weird when it comes to politics, right? Because at the end of the day, the people who are opposing one person are just waiting for their opportunity to go in and do the exact same shit that the other person was doing. I mean, trust me, Murphy, with a lot of his initiatives, they are absolutely no better and not designed towards spending cuts or anything to the like. So trust me, yeah, there are no heroes in Trenton.
The investigation is still in the process, and Murphy just removed the majority of the board members, even though Sweeney was adamant they stay on. Norcross and Sweeney are also connected to Saul Bear, chairman of Teva Pharmaceuticals, which is another company under investigation for the tax incentives fraud. Saul there was also appointed by Christie and Sweeney to a special board that attempted a hostile takeover of Rutgers Camden, which would
Jesus, seriously, these guys, like, they get busy now, don't they?
have given control over to Cooper University. The bill failed due to the protest, but that didn't stop Sweeney from abolishing the Board of Trustees at Rutgers Camden as payback.
Oh yeah, Jersey politics is all about retribution. I mean, petty grievances of man have stunted the flourishing of a plenty projects in a plenty situations. I mean, butthurt is just that, butthurt. But when you're in powerful positions, like a lot of these people find themselves in, yeah, that butthurt can spread very fast and just leave a bunch of crap in its wake. So, guys, I wanted to, lend a voice in support of the parents wanting that religious freedom, because I'm all for it. But at the same, and I also wanted to take a moment and, point out this channel, because they're uploading videos rather regularly. I'm just like, really, 12,000 in the first video? Because you can go back to my Charlize Theron video, and I think that has like 15 views. So, I mean, I have a 12,000 view video, but it wasn't the first one, man. So I don't know, man. I don't think this might be a little astroturfed, and I'll continue to check out what they post. There is a vote taking place on the bill again on Monday, and there's been a lot of people. I think Jamal Holly came out and said how he has the votes to shut it down. So I mean, hopefully, I want the parents to have that choice. I mean, particularly based on religious grounds, definitely, without question. So, with that being said, we're going to bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff, if you liked it, toss it a like, dislike, go ahead, do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice and you want to get videos like this every single day. Share, because sharing is caring. And YouTube and bitch shooting like aren't the biggest fans of your boy over here for very obvious reasons. Bang the bell for notifications and speak. Let me know. What do you think in the comments? Yeah, like, what do you go check out News in Jersey and tell me what you think of that channel. Or what do you think of the vaccine thing? Because me personally, I had my vaccine shots as a kid, and they seemed to be okay. I mean, I don't know, but I do think that, the parents do have the right to be concerned about what's injected in their children. I really do. So it's a dirty, muddy situation, and if you feel strongly about it, I don't feel strongly about it due to the lack of children that I would have to get vaccinated, but you may feel strongly about it, and that's what I have a comment section for. So until the next one.